Okay, so welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We are here to talk about something very important for us, the 2026 revision for the Fair for Life and for Life standards. This revision is not just a technical exercise, it's about shaping the future of fairer, more sustainable, and impactful practices in our supply chains. So, next, let's build tomorrow standards together. This revision is for us and for you an opportunity to make the standards clearer, fairer, more relevant to your realities. So together we can ensure they remain powerful tools for change mainly. So my name is Marie Lacoste. And together with my colleague Giovanna Pinault, we will guide you through this today's session. We hope to provide you with all the information you need to understand the issues involved in this revision and how it will work in practices.
So hello everyone, my name is Giovanna. So I'm the standards coordinator and I will be also coordinating this revision. So we'll be discussing in the coming month this topic. So today the objectives are to present the roadmap for the 2026 revision, the main phases and expectations for the coming month, and the most important part, which is how and when you can participate. We'll also be explaining the upcoming preliminary consultation, which I will call from now on pre-consultation because it's way easier to pronounce. We'll explain the process of this consultation. Note that is the first step in this revision, and your contribution are very important at this step. Next, we will be answering the questions. There is a Q&A tab, I think, in this webinar. Please ask the question via this tab because other people can vote and I can make a selection of this question if we need, because there is the chance that we cannot address all questions during this webinar. Obviously, we will come back to you if we are not able to answer very important questions. I will make sure to come back to you in the coming days. Before we start, I'm guessing that if you are here today, you had the information about the launch of the revision and this webinar, but if you were not, the main port of entry for your organization, or if you did not receive the newsletter directly, please write your contact in the chat so that I can add you to the mailing list. So from now on, you have all the information because we will be sending in the coming days the information for the pre-consultation. Note also that this webinar is being recorded and it will be available on the website in the coming days also.
Oh, why revise? Why making revision for our standards? Because the world changes and so must we. The last revision of our standards took place in 2022, and before that, in 2018, we saw a major transformation with the merge of ESR label, old label, and Fair for Life. And these milestones were important steps, but the world has continued to change rapidly since then. And so supply chains face new challenges. Expectations from all stakeholders have also significantly evolved. And so today, the demand stronger guarantees on social, societal, and environmental issues. So at the same time, our community of engaged actors has grown also, and more organizations are now part of Fair for Life and For Life. And with this growth comes new perspective, new realities, and new needs. So this is why the revision is essential. This is not change for the sake of change. It's about ensuring that our labels continue to be impactful and credible tools that reflect today's realities, address today's risks, and maximize positive impact for tomorrow. So what are our challenges? Yep. We have And we have two major tools, Fair for Life and For Life. Fair for Life to ensure ethical and long-term partnerships in trade, and For Life to guarantee responsible and sustainable practices in organization. And with this revision, we are strengthening both, focusing on the requirement of the standards and also the processes like eligibility, recognition, and of course certification. So the challenge is clear: how to make our standards simpler, stronger, and more effective for you. So if we talk about our ambitions for this standard,
Sorry.
we
Go
have
ahead.
4 key objectives. First, make requirement clearer, more readable, more understandable. Adapt them to real world condition, to your condition and the condition within the supply chain. Align with also international regulation. They have changed too, and they are coming to force us to align with the context. And provide also better tools to measure and showcase our impact. So we have 2 pillars that guide this revision. First, the risk-based approach, and we would like to make it stronger. This was already introduced in the previous version of Fair for Life and For Life, but we will definitely go further in this risk approach in these new versions, both in terms of the vision of the requirement and also in the field methodology and applicability of our standards. And the second pillar to drive is the positioning of our standard. They still to be keep in these strategic tools for managing impact and change. So your voice matters. And let's be clear, this revision cannot be done without you. We are and you are at the heart of the process. Farmers, workers, buyers, brand consumers, NGO experts. So all of you bring unique perspectives. And without your voice, the standards will not reflect the reality on the ground. This is why your participation is so important. And in order to follow ISIL recommendation for the proper management of sustainability standards, we wanted to involve you in this revision ahead of the first finalized version of our standards. So this pre-consultation is really important to give you the opportunity to work collaboratively with the standards governance. So we will have now the point about what is the governance of the standards. Your microphone.
Sorry, because there was noise around. So the idea was to have a quick overview of this chat governance and to ensure transparency and that the revision is representative and inclusive. We have 3 governing bodies. The first is the project revision team, which leads and facilitates this revision process. It will be in charge of gathering your feedbacks through these consultations and draft the proposals, work on the revision guidelines, the contents, the standard documents, and the transition plan. Next, there is the scheme committee, which is composed of stakeholders from across the value chains, not only certified operators, but also external stakeholders. You can see the 5 colleges that compose this scheme committee. The idea of this committee is to make a technical recommendation on the evolution of the scheme and seek consensus in the context of the standards. Note that this committee is currently being renewed. Once that's done, you will have the new composition on the website. That should be by the end of the month, as the renewal is now coming to an end. Finally, the last committee is the steering committee, which oversees the whole process and will validate the final version of the standards. Now, to have a better understanding of the revision process, we wanted to go into a bit more detail for the key step, especially for the key step of participation for you. So this revision process will start with the preliminary consultation that will start this week and will last for 30 days. It will go on until the middle of October and will take place and will ensure, that we collect your contribution and that the draft that we propose afterwards is rooted in your needs. And this will use both a survey and targeted consultation that can be individual or a group interview. It will be accessible on our website. You will hear from me in the coming weeks with an email announcing the launch. We will go into a bit more detail on what is this pre-consultation and what it entails. So after this consultation period, there will be a drafting period where the project revision team will work on integrating as much as possible your feedback and align with the new regulations, like Marie said. After that, this draft version will be presented to the scheme committee, and they will give their first technical recommendation for the scheme. Once that's done, we'll present this draft version of both schemes, so Fair for Life and For Life, for public consultation at the beginning of 2026. And you can make comments via a survey, like for the preliminary consultation. There can also be additional consultation if need be, similar as for the preliminary consultations or interviews that can be individual or group interviews. So by Q1 2026, we should have reviewed all of your comments and adjust the content of the draft. Once that's done, the scheme committee will provide their final recommendation and the steering committee will approve the last version of the scheme that will go into implementation in Q2 2026. So we'll publish the standards with guidelines, translations, and practical tool by Q2 2026. Obviously, there will be a clear transition plan to give you time to adapt. So for certified operators that are already certified with Fair for Life and For Life, they will have time throughout the rest of the year to do their transition to the new standard. So a quick focus on the preliminary consultation. This is the first big opportunity for you to contribute and share your vision for the new standards. It's open to all stakeholders. Also, like I said, you will be able to access it via our website. You don't need to be an expert in Fair for Life or For Life to give your perspective. That's important to note. So like I said, the preliminary consultation will be open for 30 days. The questionnaire will be open for 30 days, but I will go into detail a bit later. The objectives are both to collect your expectations and recommendation on the revision, but also to share with you our first proposal for the evolution of the scheme, so that we can gather your feedback. The idea is then to draft the new version of the standards based on these contributions. So this consultation will be done in two ways. One, an online questionnaire. So this will be open for 30 days and will cover the 3 areas that you can see on the slide. So general feedback, basically the overall perception of the standards, the clarity, the applicability of Fair for Life and For Life, and your expectation for the revision. Secondly, questions about specific topics. So what we call thematic focus. Those are 4 topics that we consider that are key for this revision. Note that it doesn't mean that other topics are not important to us. It's just that those ones we feel like we need to work on them a little bit more. Sorry. So the 4 topics are, and I will go into more details in the next slide, but refining the roles of each stakeholders involved in Fair for Life and For Life. So not only certified operators, but also, for example, registered entities. Also, the environment ambition of both standards, Fair for Life and For Life. And the last 2 are specific for Fair for Life, which are guaranteeing the fair and sustainable income, the question of remunerative price, and second, the maximizing of the Fair Trade Fund. So I will go into a bit more detail of the objectives of each thematic focus later, but the last part is the proposal for change. So we have worked on proposals for the evolution of both standards, and at this time we want you to give your feedback to refine these changes and integrate them in the draft version that will be presented in the final consultation. With this questionnaire, there's the opportunity to have interviews on specific topics. To be able to have these interviews, you have to first fill out the questionnaire. There is an item in the questionnaire when you can say that you're interested in participating. And once you have decided that you want to do that, we'll contact you to make sure that you're able to do so. The format will be adapted depending on the availability, the profile of the participant. And it can be individual or collective, depending on this point. This will ensure that we can have deeper exchange on these topics. Note that an important part of the consultation is that with the questionnaire, you have a guiding document. This guiding document is very important to guide you through the process. So we will ask you to read it before answering the questionnaire, and you can also use it while you're answering the questionnaire. It will give you the process of the consultation, but also detailed information on all the topics that I presented before. Yeah, that's it. Obviously, when we send the access to the questionnaire, we'll also send the document. It will be available in English, French, and Spanish. Now for the thematic focus. So those are the key topics that are at the heart of the revision. We'll go on these topics quite quickly because the guiding document that I mentioned goes into more details on that. So first is the redefining of the roles of each actor. So like I said, not only certified operators, but also registered entities, etc. So the revision will clarify the definitions, the rights and responsibilities of the different actors, and make sure that the requirements are applicable in practice and also more readable throughout the standards. The idea is to strengthen the collective impact and ensure that everyone, from producers to buyers, from certified entities to registered entities, contributes fairly to the standards. Next is the environmental ambition of both Fair for Life and For Life. So the idea is that we know the expectations are rising on this subject, and we want to define the level of ambition of Fair for Life and For Life so that it is realistic but remains impactful. So the idea is to clarify what is required of certified operators and how we can explore how the standards can connect with other standards that go into more detail on this subject of environmental criteria. The next two topics, like I said, are very focused on Fair for Life. So they are the fair and sustainable income. So fair price is a key part of Fair for Life. And we want this the standard to address it, not only decent income and production costs, but also remunerative pricing. We want to offer a methodology that works in your context, across the supply chains, and they can help you address this challenge. So there will be questions on how we can help you address it. And the last key topic is the maximizing of the impact of the development fund, which is one of the most concrete tools for impact in the standard and in the fair trade movement in general. We want to clarify the rules, ensure that the management is transparent, maximizing the benefit for producers, workers, and their community. And we also want to work on giving buyers more visibility on the positive effects. Now I'll let Marie present the proposals for change.
Yes. Yes, the third part of this consultation, we will talk about some concrete proposals that we would like to offer you. And beyond feedbacks, it's important to put some proposal for change. They are, of course, open for discussion, and your input will be key to validating or refining them. So once again, I would like to point out that you will have detailed information in the pre-consultation document. So this will really, it will enable you to complete the questionnaire and thus assess your feedback on this more concrete proposal. So really go to this document to have more detail. So first concrete proposal, we will the first one is, so it's a big slide, sorry, a lot of information, but I will detail this. So the first concrete proposal is really about clarifying the role of Fair for Life and its relationship with the role of For Life and its relationship with Fair for Life. Until now, For Life has been a single standard. Moving forward, and it will be reshaped into two complementary standards, each with a clearer scope and purpose. So the first, on the left, the first is proposing is For Life Company, focuses on the company level. It allows organizations to demonstrate their internal commitment to responsible social and environmental practices across their operations. This is the entry point for more companies to be recognized for their good practices. And it's really designed to be more accessible so that a greater numbers of companies, even those not directly linked to product certification, can make their responsible practices visible and credible. This is about recognizing and valuing corporate CSR engagement. The second offer, the second standard, is For Life sourcing, really centered on supply chains and strengthens responsible practices within supply chain. Here, really, the focus is on responsible sourcing practices and risk management. It provides a framework for companies to ensure that their supply chains are traceable, resilient, and aligned with sustainability expectations. So, in a context where supply chain risks are growing, this is a powerful tool for companies to secure their sourcing while driving positive impact. This is really the bridge between internal commitments with For Life Company and external impact within their own supply chain. And then we have, and we still have, Fair for Life, which remains a product certification. Fair for Life brings the dimension of fairness across the entire supply chain, from producer to consumers. And in this label, that consumers see on products carrying a strong promises of fair trade and long-term partnership. So together, Fair for Life Company, For Life Sourcing, these three standards, three panels form a full picture, a coherent, accessible, and complementary system. This articulation makes the system both more inclusive, more impactful, more company can engage, supply chain can be de-risked, and consumers continue to have strong, credible guarantees on their product they choose. So this is this new organization that we propose to you, and you will have your time to give your feedbacks in the questionnaire in this in the upcoming days for this first concrete proposal. The second proposal that we would like to put in this survey is not about making the standard lighter or less demanding. It's really, let me be clear, because it's really important for me that Fair for Life and For Life standard are already robust, credible, and recognized for their rigor. What we want to do now is to take them a step further. The idea is to evolve the way that requirements are expressed, and so that they become not only expectation, but also practical guidance for you. In another word, the requirements remain demanding, but the path to achieve them becomes clearer. And for example, instead of only stating what must be achieved, the criteria will be reformulated to better highlight how actors can get there through action plan, risk management, continuous improvement. So this means that you still need to meet the requirement, but credibility and impact depends on it. You will have also access to clearer benchmark, concrete tool, and step-by-step guidance to help in your success. So the spirit of the standard remains the same, ambitious and rigorous, but what changes is the way we support you in turning ambitions to measurable progress. And this is really important for us to really make the link with what are the criteria, what are the KPI to measure the progress and make it visible. And the last concrete proposal, the third one that we would like to put in the survey, is about coordination with other labels. And important proposal in this revision is the evolution of our equivalence and recognition systems. Why? Today's reality is that companies, supply chain often work with multiple standards. This is not a weakness. This is a reflection of the diversity and richness of responsible initiative worldwide. And our role is not to create silo, is not to compete commercially with other labels. This is not our philosophy. And instead, we want Fair for Life and For Life to be part of a wider ecosystem and credible, virtuous standards. So the goal is not to multiply audits or increase administrative burdens, but to mutually reinforce good practices. So we have today two systems, equivalence system and recognition systems. With the equivalence system, we aim to better recognize commitments that are already covered by other standards. This helps reduce redundancy, simplifies certification process, and makes engagement easier for companies. So this is today the aim, and what we would like with this revision is to revise the equivalence guides and to benchmark and make it also an update of this benchmark for existing labels and see in which way some requirements and some verification process can be equivalent, and so to reduce the way to access and to make complementary vision between different standards. So this is for the equivalent system. So the proposal will be to have a new benchmark, a new equivalence grid that includes several standards for different chapters and different pillars of our own standards. The recognition system. Today, the recognition system is for Fair for Life mainly, and only used for Fair for Life. And with this recognition system, we are strengthening its transparency and credibility. We would like to make an evolution that will ensure that supply chains and actors recognized under other frameworks still meet our values while avoiding unnecessary duplication. So both systems are really needs to be complementary also. By having a credible recognition system with a credible and adapted equivalent system, we could really reduce and make it more accessible without making the credibility lower for our standards. So these systems are complementary and they reflect a pragmatic and collaborative approach. Rather than competing with other standards, we choose to work hand in hand with those that are credible and ambitious. So this ultimate objective is to scale up responsible practices, strengthen trust across the value chain, and maximize a positive impact. I will make a specific focus on the recognition system because you will see in the survey and in the pre-consultation document, you will have more information. I will not detail all today, but you will have a specific focus on recognition because an important process. And today, a lot of actors are, some of actors and in some supply chain, they are involved in this recognition system. And what I would like to say today, it's to give you the purpose and why we would like to make a revision for this recognition system. Because recognition is about finding the right balance between flexibility and credibility. On one hand, we need to avoid unnecessary duplication and make sure that companies and supply chain already engaged in credible processes are not penalized. Because the final aim is really to open market, open access to fair trade ingredients, to fair trade product for the goods for everybody. But on the other hand, we must guarantee that what is recognized under Fair for Life continues to meet our values and offer strong assurance to the market. So the revise system will introduce clearer pathways, three possibilities: possible recognition, where existing commitments and control can be accepted. So it will have control and additional control and audit for recognition, even though it's possible. We will have also the case of temporary or transitional recognition, where recognition is temporary and a clear timeline is set to reach full certification, to let the time for the supply chain to engage themselves, to organize themselves in fair trade and Fair for Life certification, but to make it a clear engagement commitment between producer, buyers, and to have a commitment into Fair for Life certification. And of course, it will have also in some cases where recognition is not possible, because certification is possible. And so the commitment of the full actors within the full supply chain is is compulsory. So the goal here is to bring more clarity, more transparency, and more consistency to how recognition works, while keeping the process pragmatic for companies. So you will have more explanation in the pre-consultation documents. And of course, I know we will have questions, we will have feedbacks, positive, negative, mitigate, I don't know. So really, I really encourage you to give our feedbacks and consequence in this evolution. What matters now is really the philosophy behind it. Recognition should be a bridge that helps actors move towards certification and not a loophole. It's about supporting progress while safeguarding the credibility and trust that makes our labels value. So it goes also to the consumers to make it more transparent in this process. So you will find also some additional requirements and some additional labeling requirements when using recognition process. So all this purpose is really to keep the philosophy of recognition credible. That means opening, facilitating access to some markets, but at the end, make it the clear certification for the supply chain when it's possible. Yes, this was the last technical slides. So now it's your turn. Participate in the consultation. Share your views. Your voice matters, that I said at the beginning. This is the moment to make your experience, your needs count in shaping the 2026 standards. So go to the websites, to link to go to the survey or click to the link that you will receive really soon for answering this survey. Participate to this consultation because to make alive the reality of and the needs, and to know better the needs for actors, for stakeholders, and to have not a unique, because we will have new revision in the future, but you have an opportunity to align the needs, the context, and the ambitions of these standards to the reality.